Yo, what's up everyone? Kiros here, and today we're going to go over the Matrix review of Tien Lang, and we're going to showcase some other Matrixes as well. If this is your first time here, essentially what I do is I go through about 7 to 8 different combinations of Matrixes. We kind of compare the damage numbers a little bit. We have a little bit of fun with this one. We put gear back on. We have some weapons just to do some, big boy damage and just have fun with it. But I do have some surprising results, so if you guys can hit that like and subscribe, let's get started. All right, guys, we're going to do this test at 6-star. We have to set a little bit of a baseline. Not that much of a baseline, but we do need to get base damage numbers. So the first set we're going to do is going to have no matrices. This is going to be the team comp we run with the entire time. This is to make sure that we get a little bit of that passive damage from Tien, to make sure that we take that into account. And then we will also be testing out a full rotation on Crow. Now, I'm really only going to show Tien's, or at least gameplay, but we'll still review all of Crow's damage with the same set of matrices. And just as a quick FYI, just in case you're wondering, if we go into say Crow here, for example, you'll be like, hey, why are you using Shiro? Well, in the test dummy is not below 50% life or 60% life, so I can't use the Crow matrices. That would have been a better test, but since we can't effectively test that, we have to use 2P Shiro instead. So please realize when we do get to this, I'll mention again that when you see the higher damage on the 2P Shiro, because you will see higher damage, it's only for the first 50% life, right? So you do need to keep that in mind. So here are the matrices we're going to test. We're going to have that baseline with no matrices, and then I'm going to go through different matrices. You'll see, just in case, we have background matrices on the secondary hero, and then third background matrices on the fourth hero. So these are really what I'm going to test. Let's just do a quick montage. I'll see you guys on the other side, and we'll talk about our results. Okay, so we are on the other side. Now, just to let you know, I did run multiple tests on a lot of these matrix sets. So depending on what I showed in the footage was just an idea of what we did. And just kind of the rotation we did, which is typically skill plus about 12 seconds of rotation, which for Tien comes out to 3 full rotations. For Crow, comes out to about 4 full rotations. And then the other thing I do want to point out is that at Shiro, even though you see this huge increase at 67%, you should probably reduce this by about 30% because you will lose that 2P Shiro after 50% life. So just keep that in mind, that even though this number looks bigger, it doesn't mean it's technically better, but it is better because you'll be running that in your primary. So we have a base about 837. So 6-piece Tien, or 6-star Tien, is pretty dang cracked, right? You can see those numbers are actually pretty big. And then we can see that Samir Shiro, we expected that to have a really good damage output like it is today. Samir Lin was unconclusive. Sometimes I got around 1,000, sometimes I got around 1,200. Future Curios. Hey guys, Future Curios here. I just want to let you know I went back and reworked Samir and Lin matrices together, and I got more consistent results around 1,200 to 1,300, which will be better results than you see on screen. So just realize it's a pretty good set in all honesty. Then we have Samir plus Tien. Pretty interesting results, 43%. Now you wouldn't put Tien on your primary hero as well. Typically that would be in the background. And then we tried 4-piece, which is really funny that Samir, we always know Samir 2-piece matrices are some of the best matrices you could possibly get, right? Then we get into the cream of the crop. We get that 2-piece Tien. We put that on Nemesis. We get about 79% increase in damage. Then we have the Samir plus Shiro plus Tien 4-piece, where you get a monstrous jump in damage. 138%, which is a great jump in damage for a background matrix with just attacking on your primary hero. Then we did the creme de la creme of matrices. We did Samir Shiro, Tien 4-piece, and then 4-piece Lin. Now, this damage number, once again, is in the millions, all these damage numbers. And we didn't take in the damage numbers of Lin attacking. All we did was hit skill, move a decent amount to get some of her stacks, and then go back on Tien to do damage. And look at that damage increase. 353%. Once again, this is not taking no Night Bloom explosions, no nothing. This is just Tien's weapon. Lin's matrix is worth like 3 to 4 times the amount of Tien's matrix. This is why I've been saying for the longest time that Lin's matrix is just cracked, dude. Insanely cracked. And this is just proof to show you just how big of an increase that is. Maybe 2 times. Now, I do want to get into, I'm going to show some gameplay while we're going over this. I did do the exact same test on Crow, and we had some pretty interesting results. Now, one thing I do want to point out is that the base damage number is lower, so some of these percentages are going to look higher, but you're really just going to look at the total, even though the percentages are really, really good. Now, we went through the same test, and by and large, Crow's 6-star versus a 6-star Tien was just a little bit lower, but it wasn't lower by much. If I go back to Tien here, right, you see 1,400, 1,000, 1,200, 1,100, and then you see 1,100, 1,200, 1,100, 1,000, really pretty close in the millions. Now, it's a decent amount of damage, but not anything to really be like, oh, man, that's going to cost me a lot of money to be able to go a lot higher in damage, right? Now, what gets really interesting is when we get to that 2-piece Tien, that 4-piece Tien, and that 4-piece Lin and 4-piece Tien back to back with Crow, is that if we look at Tien's, right, we got about 1,500, 2,000, 3,800. We go back to Crow, 1,600, 1,900, 3,600. That's so close. That is so close. So if you watch my previous deep dive video, you'll know that just Tien, if you're going to use Tien as your main DPS versus Crow your main DPS, they are just so close to each other, like a 10% differential in damage, except for the base level without matrices. But matrices cause Crow to start going nuts, mainly because of his crit damage and everything like that. So I'll have the link to the spreadsheet down below. Let me know what you guys thought. This was a lot of fun. I love testing matrices versus testing the characters. I love testing the characters too. It's a lot of fun, just a lot of work. If you guys didn't know, I do live stream 4 nights a week. Come join me on twitch.tv or youtube.tv. I don't know if it takes 27 minutes. All right, you know what? I better not get this. What the? I'll see you guys in the next video, and fist bump from me to you.